Formal analysis of film is most easily identified in its breakdown of elements like narrative, cinematography, sound, editing, and mise-en-scène. However, one thing that often doesn't receive formal analysis is acting. This is because while there are many techniques and conventions that lay the groundwork for discussion in other elements of movies, there are a vast array of ways to act. There are many different methods and techniques any actor or actress uses while portraying a character in a narrative work. It's no wonder that for this very reason, acting is one of the most prominent things that an audience gleans from a movie. We recognize the people portraying these characters both inside of the narrative and as contributors to a bigger cultural zeitgeist. So, how can we even begin to dissect such a complex part of the filmmaking process? Let's look at some of the basic ways that actors' roles and reputations coalesce in two of Stanley Kubrick's films, the black comedy Dr. Strangelove and the iconic horror movie The Shining. In the 6th edition of Looking at Movies, authors Richard Barsom and Dave Monahan identify actors by 4 key types. Persona actors, who take their personality from role to role. Chameleon actors, who blend into and differentiate themselves in every role. Against type actors, who are there to play against our expectations of their persona. And non-actors, who are often cast to bring realism to their character's part. All these types of actors can find great success in the film industry when utilized correctly. More importantly, however, all these types of actors can be utilized in different ways to help accomplish the narrative goal of any given movie. First, let's take a look at Kubrick's 1964 film Dr. Strangelove. In this film, there is one easily identifiable actor in each of the 4 types we just discussed. The persona actor is very obvious from the moment he appears on screen. It's actor Sterling Hayden in his role as General Jack D. Ripper. This casting is easily supported with his previous work in noir and dramas and his history of service as a U.S. Marine. In direct contrast, George C. Scott's portrayal and how he plays General Buck Turgidson is a strange juxtaposition for what the audience would expect. George C. Scott was known for his serious work at the time, so much so that he was initially uncomfortable with his over-the-top comedic performance as Buck. The non-actor in this lineup is Slim Pickens, who plays the role of Major King Kong. Slim Pickens was a rodeo cowboy before breaking into film, and he almost always played cowboys, so he was able to carry that authenticity into his roles. That leaves one man left as the chameleon actor, Peter Sellers. This makes perfect sense, as Sellers really plays into each of his roles in Dr. Strangelove. Sellers is such a chameleon, in fact, that he plays 3 very distinct roles in the film to great effect. Group Captain Lionel Mandrake, President Merkin Muffley, and the titular Dr. Strangelove himself. He came very close to playing Major King Kong as well. So, it's clear why the audience's perception of the actors can change the understanding or perspective of a film's characters even prior to watching the film's acting. Of course, fantastic performance can do a lot to build an actor's persona as well. A great example of this is very apparent in Kubrick's 1980 film, The Shining. Based on the Stephen King novel, this movie is about a caretaker's descent into madness while watching the Overlook Hotel with his wife and kid. Actor Jack Nicholson was already well known for his performances of broken people, like McMurphy in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, and as such he was the perfect persona actor to capture the insanity of Jack Torrance. Even today, it's still known as one of Nicholson's most memorable roles. Similarly, Shelley Duvall had worked primarily with director Robert Altman by playing distinctive and eccentric characters. While this reputation certainly translates to her portrayal of Wendy Torrance, the role also allowed Duvall to showcase other facets of her acting. It results in a performance that's polarizing, but many fans of Duvall consider it to be her magnum opus performance. There are many different ways to define what acting is. The 4 key types of actors, persona, chameleon, against type, and non-actors, help pin down a lot of the things about an actor's performance, which helps aid the audience and its understanding of each character.